Good morning. Welcome to Justsewsherrie. I'm Justsewsherrie here on YouTube and also over on Instagram as well. Well, hello and welcome. It is the 10th, Saturday the 10th of August. What comes next? What do I say after that? Welcome to everybody. If you're an old subscriber, if you're a new subscriber, even if you're not a subscriber, you're all very welcome here. Although it would be nice if you could subscribe, press the bell button, share, do all the things. That would be really lovely. Come to a year next week. How the devil did that happen? How the devil? I think I'll need my big girl's pants on for my Flosstube, I suspect. So, I don't even know. This is my usual. I don't even know why I'm here. Why am I here? Somebody tell me why I'm here. Cross stitch. Firstly, we've got a Justsewsherrie. This isn't so much a Justsewsherrie really. It's just, it was a little anecdote, a little funny thing. Well, I thought it was quite funny. I'm going to visit an old family friend next week. I say they're old. They're not old. They're the same age as me. And I'm definitely not old. Definitely not old. And the last time I saw him, he was saying to me, like, what do you do with your time then when... Because I was saying, like, I don't drink and, you know, I don't kind of go to the pub anymore or anything like that. He says, what do you do with your time? I says, well, I do, like, needlework, like embroidery and cross-stitch. Well, that's very helpful to know, that is. And I went, is it? You planning on having much embroidered? And he says, no, he says, well, he says, I need somebody to sew me buttons on. Me mum does it at the minute, but she's not going to be around forever. So, it's like, that's not the kind of sewing I do. Definitely not the kind of sewing I do. I can. He says, well, there you go, then you can. It's like, no, I'm not being used for me sewing skills. God almighty, have we just gone backwards 200 years where you can sample me skills. I'll do a couple of test buttons for you. I'll sew up a couple of seams. Attempt to sew in a zip badly. Hopefully that will not get me the job. So that was quite funny the last time I saw him. I keep laughing every time I think about, well, your mum does it, but she's not going to be around forever. No. He's lovely, actually. He's a really lovely lad. Like I say, we grew up together. Our parents were great friends, so we went on holiday a lot together and stuff. So, right, Bina, I've already sunk one glass today, and I think it's because I had Chinese last night for dinner, and therefore I think it's probably very salty. So I've been really thirsty this morning. Okie doke, have I got anything else before we hop into the cross stitch and stuff? I'm a little bit worried about Charlie. For anybody who's new around here, Charlie's the cat, that's not my cat, but he's been coming to mine for 3 years, if not longer. And bit by bit, he just came more and more and more and more. And he used to spend all day, every day with me. But I've got 2, Gem and Scout has a falling out with him regular. Anyway, Scout will not let him anywhere near the house at the moment. He hasn't done for a few weeks now. And I've noticed that Charlie's tail is, I was going to say getting less fluffy, I don't know. Because he had like, he's quite a long-haired cat, so he's got quite a bushy tail. Not anymore, it's that all the hair's falling out. And I've just caught sight of him this morning. Scout was chasing him out the garden, and I was chasing Scout. And Scout was trying to get to Charlie, and I'm trying to stop Scout. I mean, it was like a bloody madcap meltdown this morning. And we're talking, saying this morning, it's 7:15. This was like 6:30 this morning. Charlie slept with me last night. He sometimes comes in during the night because my cats are out during the night, so he sometimes does that. If I can, I had to carry him in though, so that Scout didn't see him. Honest to God, cat politics. And anyway, he couldn't climb, he couldn't jump. It took him ages to get up to just like a normal fence post, and then up the top he couldn't run away from Scout. But by that point he was over the back garden and jumping down, and I couldn't get him back. And when I think about it, last night there was a hell of a racket, and I thought it was Charlie coming in the fence, over the fence, which is what he normally does. But it went on for ages, and it wasn't until after I thought, what was that? And then Charlie did appear, but I didn't really think anything of it until I saw this morning what happened. So a little bit worried, and I'm not sure. His mum said she was hoping I would take him to the vets in future, because basically she can't afford it. So I think a vet trip might be coming on for Charlie. I'm a little bit concerned. So, because Charlie's our Flosstube cat, isn't he? He's the one that is quite happy to appear on Flosstube. My two are just ignorance. They are the ignorance. Anyway, back to cross stitch. I will keep you posted about Charlie, don't worry. A little bit of business. Roxanne Green 5722, was it? Yes, Roxanne Green 5722. You won this last week or the week before? I'm a bit lost now as to where I was. So, Roxanne, if you can get in touch with me, if it doesn't get claimed this week, it'll just go back in for another giveaway at some point. So I did say I wasn't going to do giveaways until I've got rid of old giveaways, so no giveaway this week because I'm still waiting for this to be collected. And we will have a little bit of a bonanza one next week for me 1 year Flosstubessery. So I have got, what have I got? I've got 2 finishes. If you follow me on the gram, you will know. I've got 3 new starts. Can't remember how many we're up to now. Let me have a look at my book of days because I've started keeping a tally. So, 36 new starts. However, you can offset that by 2 because I've had 2 finishes. So, you know, my net increase is 1, so that's all right. And I've got a few whips, and I've got very few gifts because last week was a whole host of too many gifts. I have ordered some more stuff. Of course I've ordered some more stuff. I have ordered a few more bits, which I'll show you next week anyway, because they haven't arrived yet. So that'll be why. So my first one, I have kept a copy of the pattern so I can show you. This is Dirty Annie's Old Salem Sanatorium. Now I would like to discuss this word sanatorium because I thought it was sanatorium. And it wasn't until I was sitting looking at it thinking, sanitarium? Sanitarium? I thought it was sanator. Is there an English and an American version of sanatorium? Am I posh? Do I go to a sanatorium rather than a sanitarium? Yeah. So if you can keep me right as to how my pronunciation should be, that would be really good. And if or whether I've got it totally wrong. So this is the finish. I'm really pleased with it. I haven't cut it down as yet, but really pleased with it. It's on, and I can't remember if it's called Crisp October or Crispy October, but if you put in Primitive Hair Crisp, whichever one, it'll bring up the right one anyway. But it's Crispy October. So I'm hoping I'll get another chunk down the side here to stitch something on, and also might be, I might get a little bit at the bottom to be able to stitch some words or something on, Halloweeny. But I love this. Love this, love this, love this. Love how it's turned out. I did it with Weeks Dye Works charcoal, which is the called for. What is the called for? "20 count blood spatter Ada" from Jodie Favish. And you can order it through Instagram Messenger at jfavish. So that's what it's been done on. But I've done it on Crispy October. Chuffed with that. Chuffed, chuffed, chuffed. Now it'll go and live in me drawer of doom. Honestly. And the biggie, and it's not even, well, it is biggie, it's much bigger in terms of stitching, stitch heavy. Pretty bird, my Rachel bird by the Artsy Housewife. Now this started with Lauren, the New Hampshire stitcher. I saw a post on her Instagram where she had model sewn the flower pot sampler by the Artsy Housewife. Don't know which planet I've been living on, but I had never heard of the Artsy Housewife. I know, it's shocking, I can't believe I hadn't now. But I hadn't. So, sorry, I'm so thirsty. Flipping salt. Hold this one this way. So yes, she'd done the model stitch, and I was like, ooh, I like that. I really like that. So I got on the Artsy Housewife trail, and I started looking, and then Pretty Bird came out, and I was like, I need to have that. I absolutely love it. And as we all know, my friend Rachel, who is a Talking Dog stitcher on Flosstube, has opened an online needle workshop called Talking Dog Stitchery. And I did say to her, I need this. This one right here, I need this. Like nowish, like in my hand yesterday. And I wanted the flower pot sampler, obviously. And it was the flower pot sampler I really wanted, but I wanted this as well. And it came in my first order from Rachel. And I just fell head over heels. Once it was in my hand, I was like, oh. And I've got the flower pot sampler as well now. It just took a little longer to get it. But I still would have chosen to do this first. Once I saw it in my hand, it was just stunning. I cannot tell you, just. And I'm trying to. It's blown out a little bit. It's much more sort of sandier. So I've done it on 36 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works, which is done on his Zweigart base, and I like me Zweigart linens. Even when it's over dyed, I like the Zweigarts. But the colours are so rich. They're just beautiful. I could stitch this all over again and thoroughly enjoy every stitch again. I really could. Really, really could. Absolutely love it. Love it. I love it like that. I love it so much. I really, 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 really love it. Really love it. Okay. I'm just going to move these. I've just moved it over the back there. I'm a bit mindful that I've got Ribena here, and I don't really want to spill Ribena, especially not on Pretty Bird. I'd be devastated. Could probably get away with it on the old Salem one, because it would just be red splotches probably, but yeah, I don't want to do it on me pretty bird, not on me bloody beautiful bird. So, new starts. I started on Monday. I don't know why I started this. I was obviously just in the mood to start something. So I started, very little. It is a Splat Witch. And anybody who has been with me since the start will or may remember the splattered frog. So this was, for me, as soon as I saw it, I've got to have that. So I started that, and it's just a very little start. So it's a mill hill, so it is on perforated paper, in case anyone's never had a mill hill kit before. It's on perforated paper. It does come with all the threads, but you do have to sort them out. And what I usually do is just get a bit of white card, put some hole punches in and stick them all through. I found that that's easier than constantly uncoiling and pulling them. And you get all the beads that you need. And in this autumn harvest range, you get a magnet to make it into a fridge magnet. So I think they've all got, certainly all the Autumn range. I don't know what autumn is. Harvest range. All the ones I've got. Oh, how weird, Sherrie. Right. All the ones I've got fridge magnets. I've got magnets in. And you don't have to stick it to your fridge. You can stick it anywhere else that's metallic. I was getting, when I'd gone to the big stitch, and Rachel had seen me pull up, and she came out at the hotel we were staying at in Rotherham, and I went to get my suitcase out the the boot. So I opened the boot, and my suitcase was open. It was closed, like it was shut, but it wasn't zipped. So it was open. I says, I forgot that. It was open because I needed to put me sandals in. And I've got like Birkenstock sandals. So I have on like these, which is relevant. The reason I'm showing you is relevant. And I looked, and I haven't got one here, but I had a cable tie stuck to the metallic bit. And Rachel just laughed and she went, "How to tell me you're a stitcher without telling me you're a stitcher." Yeah, if I haven't got thread, I've got cable ties hanging off us. So yeah, so that was Splat. The next one I started was when I finished my pretty bird. So I started this. This is by Caroline, Haystack Stitching, and it was one of the exclusives. We got the whole kit, and when I say kit, I mean kit. We got the, if I put it down and use my hands, it might be easier. So we got all the stuff that you would need to create the pin keep. So there's Skirtex there. There's wooden, and then there's a piece of fabric to cover, and we got a little 2024 charm and a bee, and the threads, the Gloriana threads, which are lovely to stitch with. So I have started that. It is glorious. The threads, the Gloriana threads, are beautiful, and it's just, I think it's I'm sure it's Zweigart, I'm sure it is. I think it's just antique white. It might be brilliant white, I'm not sure. But the thread, now this thread is called, because I'm going to get some more of it, Cotswold Garden. I don't know if it was commissioned. before the big stitch. I know I read something. Can you believe I actually read some instructions before I got to the end, before I needed to do it? No, it just says this thread was inspired by a Cotswold garden and is gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. I'm going to get some more of this. Beautiful. And it stitches beautifully on linen. Silks and linen go together like ham and peas pudding. And I know everybody that isn't a Geordie is now saying, oh, who hasn't lived in the northeast is now going, what the hell is peas pudding? Well, it's a Geordie food. It's like peas steeped and then mashed into a blob. Sounds delightful, doesn't it? It's lovely. It's really, really lovely. Anyway, moving on. And then I finished Old Salem. And this was just yesterday. So I wanted to put a few stitches on my new start. Hang on. I just want to get the pattern. So it's the Salem Sisters Apothecary Primrose Cottage stitches, and I've been wanting to do this for the longest time, so I don't know why it waited. So I just wanted to get a few stitches in, and a few stitches I did get in. So it's not a huge start, but I've got the in. And basically I did to the end of one length of thread. So I am doing this on, and this is a fabric I wouldn't generally stitch on normally because it's 28 count. And it's, I don't know where I've got this from, it's by Be Stitch Me, and it's called Storm, and it's fabulous. This bit of fabric. I don't know where I found it. I don't know if it was at Harrogate, because I don't think I've ever been at a place where Be Stitch Me was getting sold. I don't know. I don't know. But it's a fabulous bit of fabric, and because it's over dyed, even though it's 28 count, it's quite tight. It's very similar to a Picture This Plus, not quite as heavy. I find the Picture This Plus fabric really sort of heavy, and the actual fibres are quite thick. So it's similar to that. But what am I doing it on? I'm doing it on this. Why is that over there? So I am doing it on 12 weight DMC pearl cotton. So I used my new floss winder, thank you Kerry, and I just cut off a load of, yeah, and I think I got this with my Halloween advent from Patchwork Rabbit last year. I think I got your thread bling from, could be wrong, and these floss drops are from Just Get Stitching. So yeah, so I wanted to do it, and I thought I wanted to use some of my pearl cottons, and the first fabric I started on was a 20 count that I'd chosen, and it was Fibre on a Whim, and the thread just wouldn't, it was too thick for it. So so when I came across that fabric, I thought, oh, I quite like that, and then realised it was 28 count and thought actually that would probably work really well. So all's well that ends well. I've got the perfect fabric for the perfect thread. So it's just a black pearl cotton. I always wanted to call it pearly when I was a kid. I don't know why. Don't know why I did, but I did. Right. They are my finishes and my new start. Ding, ling, ling, ling. I should have done that before the new start, shouldn't I? I like my new bell. Do you like it? I do. Okay, we have now got, onto the whips, we've got Historical Sampler Company. They have now, this is part 1 and part 2, they have now released part 3. That was last Monday, but I haven't printed it out as yet. And I haven't started stitching it as yet. So I need to get a shifty on with that. So they gifted me this, which was very good of them. And I have done a little bit more on it. So I've done a little bit more. So when you last saw it, I've done some more of these little green things at the top. I've done the rest of the banner, and the orange on one side and the white on the other needed doing. I've done the broomstick, part of the broomstick, and I've done that little motif, and I've filled in the purple, and I've put the bat and the black boots in. I think I've done one of the other little ghosts, and I've started to come down here as well. So this needs, but this is lovely, really, really, really lovely. And while I'm on, apparently their advent, the Christmas advent, they've only got 20% left. So if you're wanting it, I would go over. I got it last year, I bought it last year, and it was fabulous. I really, really loved it. So yeah, that's Historical Sampler Company. I do love them. I've stitched their Christmas trees 6 times, I think. One of them 3 times. And it was when I couldn't afford a huge amount. So I bought one of them, which was a like monochrome stitch, and had one, what do you call it, metallic thread in. So I just used the same pattern and did it 3 times, because you do what you've got to do, don't you? Oh, I do anyway. If I've got a stitch, I'll find a way, I'll find a means. Okay, I'm loving this one, and I know I've left the do you know what, this is because I was dead professional last week, that today it's not been very professional. I mean, to be fair, it's like a nanosecond, it doesn't matter to you, but for me it's like, Sherrie, come on, get professional. Found the pattern. So it is A Burn Hope by 1895 by Michelle. Mama Loves You, GB. I love this, and I'm really getting into this totally. I'm doing it with Gentle Art Schoolhouse Red, because that's the perfect colour in my opinion. So I have done more of the border. So what have I done? I think I've just come down here, done more of the border. I'm itching to get into some of the pattern, some of the good stuff. So I wanted this sort of corner border really done. And I even, it's on 40 count antique white, and I even picked it up after work yesterday. And I found it really therapeutic stitching, because it is such a repetitive border. And thank you to everybody who pointed out I had an extra gap here. It is meant, it is on the pattern. I double and triple and quadruple checked it, because I remember thinking, really? But I did. And again, I thought, I wonder if I should just not put an extra thing in. But I looked at the pattern again, and I checked the actual pattern, And obviously this is a whole lot of stitching, and it is, you can see there, it is in the pattern, and it would affect the stitching if I was to close it up. So yes, it is there deliberately, but massive thank you for being me eyes, me stitch proofing people, because I am rubbish. Well, as most of you know, I'm rubbish at just saying, oh yeah, that's what it is, and la 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 la, and it's not at all. So I do need keeping right. As Melody found out, I do need keeping right. That poor woman. And I think she might be going to stitch in London on my weekend as well, so Melody, if you're watching this, still might need supervision. I usually need adult supervision at these events. I need adult supervision at any event. Okay. So I had finished August Quaker. I still haven't fully finished it. It's sitting up here waiting to be fully finished. It is. It's just sitting here. So I moved on to September Quaker, and these are the backbone of my 24 and 24. I have to confess, I'm quite chuffed that I'm keeping up with them. I'm quite amazed that I'm keeping up with them. And this one is different in terms of, I looked at the colours and thought, they don't work for me. They were all purples, and I'm not a purple girl. Not a purple girl at all. So I was trying to change out. It was one of the purples was a real sort of purpley purple, as opposed to the other purples that weren't purples. Can anyone remember the Purple People Eater? It was a board game. Well, I say it was a board game. I don't know if it was like a plastic thing. In the 80s. Yeah. Anyway. And what happened was I moved into a slightly, I would call it mauve. I don't know if that's the actual colour of it. Moved into this sort of mauve colour. And then when I put the mauve with the other purples, I thought, you know, I don't even like the other purples. Right, well, let's change them. So I have done a complete colour conversion. Yes, it's only 3 threads. But you know, I've got to start somewhere. So I have changed them to colours I like. So I've changed, the colours I am doing are (3861). For the light purple, I've gone with 648. And for the dark purple, I've gone with a blue, 413. So they are my 3 colours that I chose. And it looks a little bit like this. It's really lovely. In real life it is. I'm not sure if you're getting the... I like it. The grey with, but I'm going with it. I'm definitely going with it. It's lovely. It's a lot of stitching on this one though. It's a whole lot of stitching. So that is September with my complete colour conversion. Hey, honest to God, I think I'm Teresa Koger. Nailing, nailing designing right here. God. I couldn't design a flipping a dot to dot, let alone an actual pattern. Next one is the old favourite, my Owl Forest embroidery. I haven't got very far with this. I thought I'd got farther than I had. But I've done, because I had literally just done a couple of stitches just to start this one. This is October. It's lovely, like this colour is going to be really nice. I'm doing it with all the called for. That is the colour. It's lovely. It's like a real rusty browny perfect October colour. Really, really lovely. And I'll show you it. There we are. I've just seen a bit of... I thought I'd just seen a bit of thread. Maybe I haven't. So, we're on to the last row. I'll miss this when it's done. I mean, it's not Mary Ann Grimshaw, but it's a mammoth piece for me. There's a whole lot of stitching getting done. And I still haven't looked up when I started it. Every week. Oh God. Killed myself with polystyrene. So that is that one. And my last one in my beautiful Liberty fabric bag from Pauline by Soapy Bags is Sarah Fletcher. $18.41. I was trying to see if it had the name on the back, on the numbers on the back, so I didn't have to turn it around again. So Sarah Fletcher, $18.41, and I started this for my dear friend Patty. His it was her birthday on the 31st of July. So we started it together for her birthday, and it is bloody beautiful. I have just moved to another colour, so I'm doing this on Winter Moon, 36 count Winter Moon. So basically, when you last saw it, I had done the bones of the green sort of along here. So I've come further round more, I've added more of the yellow stalk, and I've come down here and added the yellow stalks in. Stalks. And I've just started putting the pink petals in. Isn't it beautiful? I don't think you're getting the colours in any way, shape or form. It is gorgeous, 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 and it's done with a Verissoise. This is going to be stunning. Oh. When I started putting that pink in, oh my God, I was like, oh. I mean, the piece was beautiful anyway, but what a real pop of colour. It really is lovely, really, really, really. I am loving that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all of my stitching. I don't feel like I've done as much this week. I think because so my two cats were semi-feral when I got them, and they've never been with another person, so they're terrified of other people. And at first they were obviously terrified of me as well. It took them months to even come to me, and it's taken them, I've had them, what, they are just, so I will have had them about 4 years. In August I think I got them, and they were like 10 weeks when I got them. So I've had them 4 years, and Jem has just decided he likes to sit on my knee. So because it's taken like 4 years, I daresn't shift him. Well, I don't want to shift him because it's so lovely that finally he trusts me enough to lie on my knee and go to sleep. So I have lost a little bit of stitching time this week because of that, but yeah, I'm going to need to sort out what's going on with Charlie. I am really quite worried about him. And I've only got 2 things in the way of gifts. One is my World of Cross Stitch. I like this. I really like him. And it hasn't even got that much back stitching on either. I think he's lovely. He's dead canny. He's dead canny. And the other thing I got was something I have been after for a long time. Embroidered Stories by Helen Wilde. Now, I first saw this on Mum Loves You GB. She did a thing maybe a year and a half ago. It was a good long while ago. She did a thing on different books that she had, different embroidery books. Different books she had on stitching. And this one is about Scottish samplers. And I really wanted this. So I looked it up and it was going to be nearly £50. And I was like, really? I could get a full kit for that. No, I was like, £50 on a book. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So periodically I have searched for it. And periodically I find it, and it's still £50 on eBay or wherever it is, where it comes up. Recently I found it for half of that, in fact less than half of that, and it was from Oxfam. So it was a second-hand book, but the only thing with it is it looks like the cover has been bent back because it's got a very definite crease here, but actually these haven't even been opened. So yeah, I think it was £20 it cost me, and I'm more than happy to pay. I mean, you'd pay what, £10 to £15 for a book. I buy Audible books, and I do have to buy them. So, and it's what, £7 a book. So yeah, I was happy to pay £20 for it, and more than happy to pay it to Oxfam because it's double a win for me. I got the book at half the price, and I got to get it by helping a charity as well. I would encourage you, if you are looking for some specialist books, definitely try Oxfam. It never even occurred to me to look there. So yeah, so I got this. So I am looking forward to reading it. There is so much eye candy. And this is obviously about Scottish samplers. I did have a couple I was going to show you, and I've very rudely lost my finger places. And basically it just talks you through lots of different samplers. Cool. So really, really interesting. I'm going to get some bedtime reading with that. I'm really looking forward to opening it. I didn't want to like open it properly until I'd shown you, because I wanted to show you the quality of the book, that it hadn't been opened until. So yes, now that I've shown you, I can start reading as well. While we're on the subject of Mama Loves You GB and what would you call it? Knowledge? Research? Something like that. Stuff that around stitching that isn't stitching. I was telling a lot of people, and I heard this on Michelle's YouTube, again, beginning of last summer, and I mean, yeah, it's been a good while ago. There is a podcast called So What? I'll put it along here. And it is fabulous. It's run by a girl who, she started it in 2020 in COVID lockdown. She's done her PhD in stitching. I can't remember which part, but some part of stitching or embroidery she's done her PhD in. And it's a podcast. I mean, there's 80 odd, if not more, episodes. And she interviews lots of different people along the way and talks about lots of different stories. So one of the first ones she does is with the, what's she called? Is she called the executor of the Royal School of Needlework? Anyway, she interviews her. One of the others she's done was about tatting and the history of tatting. And I've got this obsession that, because I've listened to that podcast, it's a dying skill. We need to get some tatting. We need to get some tatting skills passed down, because otherwise we're going to lose them. She did a thing on Jane Austen and the Bronte sisters' own needlework. She did a thing on British colonialism. She did a one on, what else? Indian stitching and embroidery throughout the years. There is just so much information out there. Really, really, really interesting. So it's a podcast called So What? I've got it on my Apple. I did look for it recently on Prime and I can't find it on Prime. So I know it's on the Apple app, podcast app, but I don't know if it's on the Prime app. But I've been meaning for weeks to mention it. So yeah, if you're interested in any of the history, and you don't need to listen to every one, of course, you can scroll through. One of these days I'll learn how to say words. Scroll through, and each one's got like a little blurb about what it's about, so you can pick whichever one interests you, because I know there's at least 85, if not, there's probably an awful lot more now. But highly recommend that So What as well. So, have I got anything else? I have, I'm sure I have. So, forward plans. Sals. I need to get caught up with my sals. I've got my Halloween sal to get caught up with. I've got my own sal. And somebody, I can't remember her name, but she said, you know, my Christmas rules that I said it was a sal with me. She says it's called a stitch alone. So I'm going with that. To be fair, I'm meant to be stitching it with Rachel, talking dog, but I don't think there's much progress getting done over there. So it really is a stitch alone a sal. So yeah, what else? was I going to do? I'm loving me A. Burnhope, and I will call her Anne. I think we're just going to have to go with that. I think she's an Anne. She's an Anne, an A-double-N, no E. Mine's got an E on, but I don't think she's an E girl. I think she's just a double N, and I'll tell you for why. It's because her sampler is so embellished that she didn't have the embellishment on her name, and I think that's what it is. Yeah. What is it? They're saying Alice in Wonderland. You know, you don't have to be mad to be here, but it helps. No, I don't think they say that in Alice in Wonderland. I think I've just made that up. It's that we're all mad here in Alice in Wonderland, isn't it? You know, I've got that to stitch as well, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. Is that what it's called? Something like that. I'm looking at my pile, is what I'm looking at. So I need to get on and get Christmas rules. I'm not going to focus on Salem Sisters. I know I'm not. I just wanted to get that started. And I need to get on my 56 count. Sarah's finished hers. I need to get on mine. I did get it out the other day, but I was struggling to see it. So, yeah, I need to get it out soon. Next week is my 1 year Flosstube, so I will have a quite big giveaway. I'm going to do a whip parade. I'm in two minds whether to do a whip parade, and because I started with a whip parade and I didn't do one in January, and I don't do half yearlies, I'm just going to do them forever, however long I'm doing these Flosstubes, just yearly, I think. So I'm going to do a whip parade, which is probably going to take a couple of days to get done. So I'll have costume changes in that whip parade. And then I didn't know whether to do a normal Flosstube on the Saturday. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts if you've hung on this far. What you think. It may well go on how I feel. As in, if it's taken me half the week to do a whip parade, I may be just, I'm done. I'm all done out. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Yeah. So I'm saying I'll get loads of stitching done. Probably won't, because I'll be too busy filming my whip parades. And what I should have done, maybe, is filmed it before I went to the big stitch, and then I might not have spent so much money. So that'll be nice. It'll be good to go through back through what I've got on the go and fall in love, hopefully, with some older pieces and pull them out and get them worked on. So that is that. Today's final thought. What will I leave you with? I love this. This isn't with anybody particularly in mind. I just like it. So today's final thought is from the very great Oscar Wilde. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Bye for now.